A very good morning to all of you, my dear students of class 8A, 8B, and 8C. As we all know that we are suffering from a great pandemic disease, so please be safe in your house, stay safe, and start reading also. It is a very crucial time period that is running, and we should not, I think, waste it. We should try to utilize it. This is very important for us. So, yesterday yesterday I have finished one chapter for you people. I have discussed the exercise of this thing also. Okay, I have discussed the exercise also. So I have given you some sort of homework that you have to complete the exercise of first chapter, and I don't think that only very few students are completing the exercise. That is not fair. Again I request, that is not fair. To complete your exercise and submit it to me today. Complete your whole exercise of first chapter. Let's recall, let's discuss, let's do. Okay, let's recall, let's discuss, and let's do. Complete all these three segments of your chapter and submit it to me immediately by today. Okay, so now we would like to start our second chapter. Wait for a second, let me download it from Google Classroom. So right now we are in our second chapter. What is the name? From trade and commerce. Let me check it. So just a minute, it is not getting downloaded. I'll have to see. Let it be download first, then we'll start our second chapter. Please have little bit patience so that we can start it. And what about the other things? How you people are uh, right now or not? Please take care about yourself. Again, I request to all of you. So now it is downloaded, and now we can read it offline. So what is the name of our second chapter history book? That is From Trade to Territory. From Trade to Territory. Now, as we all know, my dear students, that we are studying about the modern time period of Indian history. We are trying to read it. So from trade to territory. Now, I would like to tell you some story before starting this chapter. I would like to tell you some story. Do you know that why Britishers came to India? They came in the search of trade and commerce. Okay, it it was in the year 1600. ये साल 1600 की बात है जब ब्रिटेन की महारानी ने ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी नामक एक व्यापारिक कंपनी बनाई. ओके, व्हेन द इम्प्रेस ऑफ England, named Queen Elizabeth. She made one East India Company to conduct trade and commerce in East Asian countries. This India Company came to India in the year 1605. ये ईस्ट इंडिया कंपनी भारत कब आई बेटा? 1605 में. जब पहले in our country Portuguese, apart from them, and Dutch, Portuguese and Dutch East India Company had already arrived in our country. Then this British East India Company came to our country, and in the very starting, it tried to expand its wings for the purpose of trade and commerce in all over the country. Slowly and slowly, when this East India Company saw that in India there is a great, struggle among all the local emperors, and they are not supporting Mughal emperors well, so they tried to cash it. Now their eye view changed from their establishment as a trading company. They changed their view towards a territorial company. Now they started thinking about to establish their territory over here. You know, territory, a ruling place, a, a particular part of land where we establish our rule is called our territory. So the East India Company that entered into our country in 1605 for the purpose of I mean only just from the purpose of trade and commerce, but slowly and slowly it expanded over in all the country, and the whole country became its, what should I say, prey from the purpose of exploitation, from the purpose of its use. Okay, so how this company changed its eye view, how this company changed from a trading company into a territory company, the company establishes power. Now we will see in this particular chapter. So Aurangzeb was the last of the powerful Mughal rulers. Now in your class 7 history book, you might have read up something about Aurangzeb. I think so. Who was Aurangzeb? Aurangzeb was a Mughal emperor. He was son of Jahangir and Shah Jahan, and he was one of the greatest Mughal rulers from the point of view of political expansion and political power. So Aurangzeb, but he was the last powerful Mughal ruler. After him, all the Mughal rulers were very weak in personality, very weak in political power, and very weak from the point of view of being as an emperor. Aurangzeb was the last of the powerful Mughal rulers. He established control over a very large part of territory that is known as India. During Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, the whole India was approximately under control of him. After his death in 1707, many Mughals governor at that time, you know, today this is there is a post named governor. I mean, he is a representative of President of India, and right now in 21st century, the in each province of India we have one governor. And what is the question for you? You have to tell me the name of the governor of West Bengal right now. Who is the current governor of West Bengal? You have to tell me in WhatsApp group. Tell me who is the West Bengal governor. After his death in 1707, many Mughal governors, and during Mughal time period, governors were called Subedar. Suba means state, Suba means province, and the master of state is called Subedar. And big zamindars began asserting their authorities and establishing regional kingdoms. And what is the second change that came? That big zamindars, I mean rich landholders, landlords, they started to show off their powers. They started to establishing their own territory, and they started making their own kingdoms and its capitals. As powerful regional kingdoms emerged in various parts of India, Delhi could no longer function as an effective center. The powerful centers emerged in all over the country. Regional centers like in South India, the rise of Maratha and Nizam of Hyderabad. Then in West Bengal, I mean, then Nawab of Bengal were also there, and in UP, some state Awadh rulers were there. I mean, local state Awadh rulers were also there. So various kind of regional powers were available in all over the country at that time. Their authority and establishing regional kingdoms. As powerful regional kingdom emerged in various parts of India, so due to that, Delhi could not be no longer as an effective center. 100% when regional power upputs their head, then sometimes the central power becomes very weak. With the same time, as there was no effective ruler after the death of Aurangzeb, there was no effective ruler in Delhi, so nobody was able to control the condition effectively, and slowly Delhi kept on leaving its importance as an effective center of India. By the second half of the 18th century, However, now we are talking about second half of the 18th century, means 1800 plus to 1900. What is the time period of the second half of 18th century? Sorry, the exact time period of second half of 18th century is 1750 to 1880. The exact time period, the exact tenure of the second half of 18th century time period is from 1750 to 1800. Okay. By the second half of the 18th century, however, a new power was emerging in the political horizon, the British. Now, after 1750, all the people saw that after the Battle of Plassey, especially, Plassey battle was fought in the year 1757, where in a Nadia district of West Bengal on the river of bank Ganga, there is a famous place named Plassey. So in Plassey, a famous battle was fought between Sirajuddaulah, the Nawab of Bengal, and Lord Clive, Robert Clive, who was a military commander at that time of Bengal. And he had come from Chennai. He was actually sent from Chennai to control the Sirajuddaulah, and he came through, ships from Chennai to Calcutta, and he started a battle over here. Okay. So then what happened? Did you know that the British originally came from a small trading company and were reluctant to acquire territories? Now they came with the purpose, who came? Britishers came with the purpose of only trade and commerce, but slowly and slowly they keep on ruling our country, and finally they were able to change their mindset, and they tried to acquire various kind of territories in our country. How did they come to masters of a vast empire? How did they come to be the masters of the of a vast? How did they able to control India? In this chapter we will see how this came about. In these kind of things we will detail in this chapter. Now see, there is a beautiful picture that has been given. I little bit zoomed it. You may see it clearly. Okay. Now what happened? Bahadur Shah Zafar and his sons being arrested by Captain Hodgson. This is a picture of New Delhi. This is a picture of New Delhi. You may see an old person in white dress is standing just behind him, beside him. Some English officers are also standing, and before that person, two, no, 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 two. What should I say? Two princes, princes, what should I say? Okay, two people who are looking like prince are also standing before them, and now these three persons have been arrested by Indian people. Actually, uh, they took the part in Indian revolt, Indian mutiny revolt of Sepoy, Indian mutiny of Sepoy in 1857. So that is why these participants have been arrested from Delhi, and the other horses are also there, some other soldiers are also there, and two English officer are talking to the great Mughal emperor, the last Mughal emperor of India, that is called Bahadur Shah II, or his nickname is Bahadur Shah Zafar. After Aurangzeb, there was no powerful Mughal ruler, but Mughal emperors continued to be symbolically important. In fact, when a massive rebellion against British run broke out in 1857, Bahadur Shah Zafar, the Mughal emperor at the time, was seen as a natural leader. Once the revolt was put down by the company, Bahadur Shah Zafar was forced to leave the kingdom, and his sons were shot in cold blood. Now, what happened? Although after Aurangzeb, there were no great Mughal emperor available in Mughal society, Mughal empire, who could have controlled the situation at that time, who could have controlled the upcoming days of British Empire, who could have controlled the role of British Empire in our country. But they were very mean in nature, they were very powerless in nature. So that is why they did not do anything except living a lavish life, except living a life without interest. So that is why they did not able to do anything for the society as well as for their own empire. Later on, when English people came, and in 1857 the Sepoy of India revolted against this English empire. Then ultimately, the Mughal emperor at that time, the contemporary Mughal emperor was Bahadur Shah Zafar, and even then he was given some importance, and he was told to lead the revolt, and he leaded it. He leaded the revolt also, and he was a symbolic. He became a symbolic representative of the revolt, and with this signal, everybody came to know that the throne of Delhi is revolting against British Empire. The Sepoy of the Indian Sepoy of British people are revolting against them, and this became a great battle. Later on, what happened that after the battle, when Bahadur Shah Zafar and his both son was arrested from the Moscow, not Moscow, from the graveyard of what should I say, Humayun के मकबरे से, so those people were arrested, and they then Muhammad this one Bahadur Shah Jafar was sent to Myanmar. Right now, do you know Myanmar? Myanmar is a country, and there was a famous jail that was called Mandalay jail, that was called Rangoon. So in Rangoon he was kept, and he passed away there, passed away over there also. He died there in Myanmar. So this is a small story about Bahadur Shah Zafar, and that we have discussed little bit. Now we will see what you have to do. Okay, East India Company comes east. Through this diagram, we would like to understand little bit. This diagram we would like to understand. Now see British Iceland. The first most important thing what we will see from here, that is British Iceland. From here, British East India Company started its journey. Then by sea route. Now see what which sea is this? Can you identify? Which sea is this? This is Atlantic Ocean. This is Atlantic Ocean. So by this sea, by corner, those people came to Cape of Good Hope. Now what is this place? This place is located in African continent. You may see it from here, that from here, from British Iceland, British people started their journey, and slowly then they came to African continent. Then again they turned in Indus Ocean, and slowly, ultimately they reached where? In Bombay, in Madras, and in Calcutta. Okay, so this is the route from where British East India Company came to our country. So now we come to our heading. East India Company comes first. In 1600, the East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England. Underline important point. In 1600, the East India Company acquired a charter from the ruler of England. Right now, who was the ruler? Queen Elizabeth I. Queen Elizabeth I, granting it the sole right of trade with the East. Now, as I mentioned earlier also, that East India Company was established in the year 1600 through a charter, and that charter was ordered by Queen Elizabeth I, that East India Company had only right to conduct trade and commerce with East Indian countries, granting it the sole right of trade with the East. This means that no other trading group in England could compete with East India Company. Now, why did a charter was made for East India Company? Why did East India Company given power to conduct trade and commerce? So that at the same time, no another country could participate and could tell that this is what should I say? Okay, little bit confusion. Actually, one vessel is coming, the garbage vessel, so that's why my mind was diverted over there. So, but why this? So that no other company, no other East Indian company could compete this East India Company. Okay, no other trading company of England or Britishers could compete East India Company in East Asian countries from the point of view of trade and commerce. So this meant that no other trading group in England could compete with the East India Company. Okay, with this, so I think we should stop today. We will discuss it from later on by from the further part. I mean the further part of this heading will be discussed later on. This is sufficient for today. What is your homework? Submit me your exercise of first chapter. Let's recall, let's discuss, and let's do. First chapter exercise, let's recall, let's discuss, let's do. Complete it and submit it. And what is your second homework? You have to draw this map. The map that is available on page number 2, I think. Sorry, on page number 10. On page number 10 of chapter number 2, page number 10, chapter number 2 of your book, you have to make this map. You have to draw this map on your book and you have to submit it to me by today. Two homeworks are there. Draw this map on your history book and submit it to me today in Google Classroom. And what is another homework? That complete the notes of first chapter and submit it to me. Okay, that is sufficient for today, and we will meet in next class tomorrow and discuss something important. Okay, so till that time period, stay safe, be healthy and happy with your family members. Keep away from yourself, so from gathering, mass gathering, and stay safe in your house. Okay, we'll meet soon. Thank you. Take care.